Well, Colorado lawmakers on both sides of the aisle have decided a fence is the best way to protect our state capitol, and they did it without telling anyone.
In fairness, their safety is at the heart of the matter, but it's also the people's house, and it seems like the people deserve to know what's happening on their front lawn.
Denver 7's Lance Hernandez spent the better part of the day just trying to get someone to give him some details, and Lance begins our 360 coverage. Lance?
Well, Shannon, it's not a done deal yet, but there is bipartisan support on the committees responsible for the Capitol to enhance security. So they're looking at a fence, bulletproof glass here on the ground floor, and more cameras.
We have reviewed multiple proposals, and we have not settled on any of them yet.
The chair of the Capitol Development Committee says none of the proposals would obstruct the view.
They're all open, they're wrought iron. All of them have the four main entrances of the building completely unobstructed.
Representative EDIE HOOTON says a fence is necessary to protect the building from vandals and potential looters. Residents we talked with outside the Capitol have mixed emotions.
I just think it takes away people's freedom to move around.
I think the tax dollars that would go towards the fence around the building would be a one-time thing, and it would prevent further spending to repair vandalism.
Years ago, there used to be a fence around the Capitol. That was taken down during the World War because they needed that metal for production.
Senator Jerry Sonnenberg says he doesn't want to see access limited, but he wants to make sure people who work in the basement are safe. No one is sharing any renderings yet, but Sonnenberg says he favors a proposal which would circle the Capitol inside the inner ring sidewalk with a 6-foot-tall fence. We went to Denver Police Headquarters and to the Mint to see what their wrought iron fences look like. Sonnenberg says he's heard an estimate of $1 to $2 million for the enhanced security, which he calls exorbitant.
I can tell you if it's going to be a permanent iron fence, I got a bunch of ranchers up in northeastern Colorado that can build that fence for much cheaper.
Some former lawmakers are pushing back against the fence idea. Former House Speaker Terrence Carroll told me that in this environment, people don't trust their government. That's a problem for democracy. A fence exacerbates that. No timeline being issued on when a final decision will be made. And Representative HOOTON told me that a fence won't require a vote by the entire legislature. She says the Capitol Building Advisory Committee approves the design and the Executive Committee has final say on any changes to the Capitol itself or to the Capitol grounds. Lance Hernandez, Denver 7.
All right, thank you, Lance. And there is actually an argument to be made that building a fence could save the state money in the long run. Now, last year's protest resulted in 112 shattered windows and doors there at the Capitol, also at the 8 surrounding auxiliary buildings. 11 security cameras were smashed, 8 gates were damaged, and 3 flagpoles were broken. Monuments, we recall, also were toppled, and there was graffiti everywhere. And the final price tag to clean all that up, $1 million.
There are some insurance policies that will cover certain elements of what's gone on, but ultimately it's state taxpayer dollars that cover the cost of this kind of damage and this kind of cleanup.
Now, some believe the vandalism forced lawmakers to confront the issue of police brutality head on. Others think it was nothing more than a distasteful, wasteful distraction. Regardless of which side you're on, there is no arguing last year's session was a productive one. The police accountability law passed by the legislature was one of the most ambitious in the country. The bill banned the use of chokeholds, eliminated the qualified immunity defense, and made body cameras a requirement for all law enforcement officers.
Well, just this week, the acting House Sergeant at Arms informed Congress that fencing will be scaled back. This is the U.S. Capitol. Republicans don't like it. Democrats don't like it. The public doesn't like it. Pretty much everybody in Washington seems to agree there are other ways to protect the people's house. Now, that said, everyone pretty much agrees that fence made sense for the short term. After all, the Colorado state capitol sustained property damage. The U.S. Capitol was the site of an armed invasion. So now it's your turn. Are you okay with the 6-foot fence around the Capitol if it keeps vandals away?
Do you think there's another, maybe less unsightly way of handling security? Tell us about it with an email to 360@thedenverchannel.com. And if there's a perspective you think we missed, tell us about that too.